of people left in the dark.
The future of war is nothing like what we have seen before. Imagine AI-powered drones making life or death decisions in seconds, or missiles so fast they hit their targets before anyone even realizes they've been fired. That's the kind of battlefield US and China are gearing up for. But the real power, it's not just in the skies or on the ground, it's in cyberspace, where a single hack can take down entire economies in the blink of an eye. So who's leading this high-tech arms race? And more importantly, who's going to control the future of warfare? Stick around, because what's happening behind the scenes is straight out of a sci-fi thriller. My name is Sham, and let's unravel this thread. Let's be real, war isn't what it used to be. It's not just tanks rolling in, fighter jets screaming across the sky, or nuclear missiles acting as the ultimate trump card. Sure, those still matter, but the real game changers are happening in ways most people don't even notice. War is shifting from battlefields to servers, from soldiers to AI, from brute force to speed and precision. Take AI and automation. Machines are taking over jobs once done by humans, except they're faster, smarter, and they don't hesitate. The US military is already testing AI-powered drones that fly in coordinated swarms, like a pack of hunters. Meanwhile, China is going all in on mass production, reportedly developing kamikaze drones designed to overwhelm defenses with sheer numbers. Who needs thousands of human pilots when you can just program an army of autonomous aircraft to attack on command? Then there's cyber warfare. Forget bombs. Today you can cripple an entire country just by hacking into its power grid. Back in 2015, Russia-backed hackers shut down power for 230,000 people in Ukraine. Now imagine that on a global scale. Banks frozen, hospitals losing power, and satellites knocked offline. Both the US and China are pouring resources into cyber units. But here's the terrifying part. China has already stolen trillions of dollars in intellectual property, hacked into key US infrastructure, and even breached military databases. No bombs, no tanks, just a keyboard and some code. And then there is speed, hypersonic weapons. These missiles fly at over 5 times the speed of sound. To put in perspective, a hypersonic missile launched from China could hit the US in under 15 minutes. That's barely enough time to make a cup of coffee, let alone respond to an attack. China already has its DF-17 hypersonic missile in service, while the US is still testing its own. These weapons are nearly impossible to intercept, completely unpredictable, and could change the warfare forever. So while tanks, jets, and nukes still grab headlines, the real war is shifting. It's being fought with thinking machines, invisible hackers, and weapons that move too fast to stop. And the country that figures it out first is the country that wins the wars of the future. Alright, let's talk about the future of war. It's no longer about who has the most tanks or aircraft carriers. It's about AI weapons and hypersonic missiles. In this race, the US and China are neck and neck, competing for military dominance in ways that could change everything. The US is going all in on AI-driven drones like the Skyborg project. Think of it as a loyal wingman program. Drones that fly alongside fighter jets, making split-second decisions, engaging targets, and even sacrificing themselves to protect human pilots. Picture an F-35 charging into battle, flanked by a squad of intelligent, self-flying wingmen. That's where US military tech is heading. China, on the other hand, is playing different game. Quantity over quality. They are not just developing AI drones, they are mass-producing them. Ever heard of ZT-180? It's rumored to be China's version of kamikaze drone, designed to overwhelm enemy defenses through sheer numbers. And here's the real deal. China is leading in swarm drone technology. In 2020, they showed off coordinated swarms of 1,000 drones moving like a robotic army of bees. The US might have an edge in AI software, but China's ability to mass produce and deploy these weapons at scale could be a serious game changer. Now let's talk speed. Hypersonic missiles travel at over Mach 5, that's more than 3,800 miles per hour. Fast enough to hit a target before radar can even react. And here's the cold hard truth. China is ahead. Their DF-17 hypersonic missile is already in service. Not only is it insanely fast, but it can also change directions mid-flight, making it nearly impossible to intercept. Meanwhile, the US is still in testing mode. The LRHW, long-range hypersonic weapon, is promising, but after multiple failed tests, it passed end-to-end testing recently in December 2024. In a real war scenario, that means China has the first strike advantage. A DF-17 missile could hit Guam in minutes, not nearly enough time for traditional defenses to react. But hypersonics and AI drones are just the beginning. The real battlefield isn't in the sky or on land. It's one we can't even see. Welcome to the world of cyber warfare. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see more deep dives like this, subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming next. In today's world, you don't need bombs to bring a country to its knees. A single cyber attack can take down power grids, freeze banks, and cripple military networks, all without firing a shot. And in this digital battlefield, China is on offense, while the US scrambles to defend itself. China's cyber tactics are aggressive and relentless. Remember the 2015 Office of Personnel Management hack? Chinese hackers stole 21.5 million US government records, including social security numbers and even fingerprints of federal employees. That's like handing over VIP list for espionage. Then in 2021, China-backed hackers exploited vulnerabilities in Microsoft Exchange servers, affecting over 30,000 organizations worldwide, hospitals, corporations, even local governments. This isn't just about stealing data, it's about weakening an opponent before a conflict even begins. So is the US completely defenseless? Not exactly. The NSA and US Cyber Command are among the most advanced in the world. They've even launched offensive cyber attacks, like the Stuxnet worm in 2010, which sabotaged Iran's nuclear program. But here's the problem. The US is a much bigger target. Power grids, stock markets, military networks, everything is connected to the internet. More targets mean more ways to get hacked. Now let's take this fight beyond Earth, because the country that controls space controls everything below it. The US has the Space Force and cutting-edge tech like the X-37B spaceplane, an unmanned craft that can stay in the orbit for years on classified missions. The Pentagon also has satellite defense systems designed to track and potentially disable enemy satellites. But China isn't sitting back. In 2007, they shocked the world by blowing up one of their own satellites with a missile, proving that they could do the same to an enemy satellite. Since then, they have developed anti-satellite weapons, space-based sensors, and even robotic arms that can grab and disable satellites. So who has the edge? The US still leads in space tech, but China is catching up fast. And if a future war moves to the space, we are looking at a world where GPS, communication systems, and even missile guidance could be wiped out in an instant. A US-China war a decade from now wouldn't look anything like the past conflicts. No long drawn-out ground battles. This would be a high-tech, AI-driven fight where cyber attacks, drones, and hypersonic missiles do the most of the damage. The most likely scenario is a new Cold War. Instead of launching missiles, both sides would weaponize cyber attacks, economic warfare, and AI-powered espionage. China could crash the New York Stock Exchange with a well-placed hack, while the US could shut down China's power grid from halfway across the world. And AI wouldn't just be writing code, it would be spying, hacking, and even strategizing military moves. But what if things heat up? The South China Sea or Taiwan could turn into the next Ukraine, a brutal proxy war fought across oceans, skies, and cyberspace. The nightmare scenario is a full-scale war. If things spiral out of control, this wouldn't be a traditional war with fighter jets and aircraft carriers. It would be missile barrages, AI-coordinated warfare, and even battles in space. If satellites go down, then GPS, military comms, and missile guidance systems could go dark in an instant. A US-China war would shake up the entire world. This wouldn't just be a fight between two superpowers, it would rattle the entire planet. Think global markets crashing overnight, supply chains grinding to a halt, and countries scrambling to pick sides in a conflict that no one truly wins. The scariest part? The more we automate warfare, the less control humans actually have. What happens when an AI-controlled missile system misinterprets a training exercise as an actual attack? Or when a cyber attack on a military AI corrupts its decision-making? This isn't a hypothetical. In 2020, an AI drone in Libya reportedly attacked human targets without direct human approval. Now, apply that to US-China conflict. What if an AI-controlled defense system mistakes a routine Chinese missile test for a preemptive strike? Would an algorithm escalate tensions before anyone has time to intervene? And then there is the nuclear wildcard. The only reason the Cuban Missile Crisis didn't go nuclear in 1962 was because a Soviet officer refused to follow protocol and launch a torpedo. But in the future, what if the decision isn't left to a human? What if it's an AI making a split-second call based on a flawed or manipulated data? The scariest wars aren't always the ones we start, they are the ones we lose control over. A miscalculation, a software glitch, or even a cyber attack could trigger a catastrophe before humans can even realize what's happening. Even if the war doesn't go nuclear, it would drain both the US and China economically. And if these two giants weaken themselves through conflict, who steps in as the new global leader? Europe? India? Or do we enter an era of complete chaos where no single country holds dominance? The wars of future won't be fought on battlefields. They'll be fought in the shadows at the speed of light. And if we are not careful, the biggest war of all might be the one we never see coming. So what does this mean for the future? If the US and China stay on this path, this isn't just about military power anymore. It's about who controls the very systems that keep the world running. But here's the big question. Are we heading towards an inevitable conflict? Or is this just another round in a long strategic game of deterrence? History tells us that when two superpowers rise, tensions often leads to war. But today, destruction doesn't just happen on battlefields. It happens at the speed of light. Cyber attacks, AI-driven weapons, economic warfare, the rules of war have changed. This isn't just a fight for military dominance, it's a fight for global influence, control, and the future of stability itself. And at some point, we have to ask, when does innovation in warfare stop being about defense and start becoming a direct threat to humanity? I want to hear from you. Who do you think is winning this high-tech arms race? Do you think a US-China conflict is inevitable? Or will diplomacy and deterrence keep things in check? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's continue the conversation. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our deep dives into biggest issues shaping the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.